All right, we're going to look at number 5 here. When we have an equation that's already in slope-intercept form and we want to graph it, what's the first two things you need to identify? You need to identify your slope and your y-intercept. So what's my slope on number 5?
2/3.
2/3. What is my y-intercept on that one? 1. Is it a positive 1 or a negative 1? Why is it positive 1? Because of the plus sign in front of it. That is correct. Now, I've identified the two pieces of information I need to go to graph it. What's the first thing I'm going to put on my graph? My y-intercept. And the y-intercept crosses which axis? The y-axis. So on the y-axis, which is your vertical, you want to put a dot on 1. Okay? Now, how am I going to use that slope to find more points? Rise over run. Okay, so from the point I just put on, I'm going to rise 2 and run 3. Now, is my slope positive or negative? It's positive, so we know that the top part is going to go to the right. So when I go up 2 and over 3, it's going to be to the right. So from the
closest point where it crosses.
Do what now?
Do you graph it to the closest point possible, or do you have to go all the way to 3?
You have to go all the way to 3. Yes. Now, if I can do more points, I can. I cannot, however, go up 2 more and over 3 because I run out of graph. So if I go back to the original 1, I can drop 2 and go over 3 to the left and get another point. Okay? The more points you put on there, the more accurate your lines are going to be. Now, we're freehand in drawing, so it does look a little different because we don't have a straight edge and all that stuff. So it does look a little different. Then I would draw my line. And am I done? No, I'm going to do what? Write the equation, which is what we started with, near my line. Everybody see that? All right. Anybody have any questions on that one? Okay, so go to your near pod. Oh, mouse. Y'all are able to open that, right? Okay. All right, so we've got our first one up there, and it says y equals, are y'all looking at the one that says 5 over 2x minus 4? Okay, I want to make sure I was on the right one. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to identify to me your slope and your y-intercept. No, write it down. And you can write on yours because it's not going to show everybody else's. And you can use M for slope, so you don't have to write the whole word slope out. If you want to, it's fine. It doesn't matter. And you can use B for your y-intercept instead of writing out y-intercept. I'm fine with that. No, we'll submit at the, does it say submit on that slide?
Yeah. We submit our answers too.
Yeah. I'm actually sitting here watching you guys write on your slides now. So, but yes, you can click submit on that. They've changed it a little bit since I used it last year, so.
No.
Hey, Booker, you flipped yours. Your slope is, okay, you just kind of flipped them. Yes, go ahead and submit it. All right, I think most people have finished with that. What was your slope? 5/2, and your y-intercept was -4. Okay, now using that information, I want you to graph it. Okay, so what are you going to put on first? Which one are you going to put on first, your slope or your y-intercept? You've got to put your y-intercept on first. So you will find on your y-axis, you will put -4. After you do that, you're going to use your rise over run. Finger, cursor. Okay. Okay. Remember, positive goes up and to the right because it's positive. Okay. Also remember your y-intercept was a -4, so we should have been at the bottom before we started. Some of you put your -4 on your x-axis, not your y-axis. Okay. Yes, go ahead and submit. And supposedly when I move on, it just saves what you did, supposedly now. Okay. All right, anybody have a question on that graphing one? I didn't see a lot of you put that equation over there. I saw a few of you put it. Don't forget to put that equation near your line. Okay, and I know it's not so bad right now when it's only one line, but when you get to high school and you're graphing 2 or 3 lines per paper, okay, that teacher needs to know which one is which equation. Okay, because that'll be one problem. Sometimes you have to graph 2 or 3 lines on the same one. Okay. Okay. All right, hang on one second. We'll look at it. All right, let's move to this one. Again, I want you to find the slope and the y-intercept. Which should be fairly easy.
We have to graph it.
Even if you didn't. I mean, I'm just kind of watching to see what everybody's doing, okay?
We need to graph it too.
Not on this one. We will the next slide. Okay. So on this one, you're just identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Adam, on this one, we're just identifying the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so that looks good. All right, now I want you to graph it.
I was holding it.
Don't forget to draw your line, and then what at the end? Well, you got to put the arrows, but then write the equation. Jalen, that's a negative slope. Go positive.
But, one slash.
And I kind of sit as long as we know where we're going. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to move ahead with this one. I can close out. Okay. I want you to write me as many things as you can think of about slope. And it doesn't necessarily have to be words. It can be words. It can be formulas. It can be any way that you can think of how I might describe slope. Then we'll talk about it, but I just want to see what you guys can remember. You tell me. This is your question. Some is waiting, it said. Message you can remember.
This is already. Not even a line to it. Oh yeah, it has 2 dots.
This is your thoughts, not everybody else's thoughts.
Oh, sorry.
We don't want your ideas. Not yet.
Well, I might be the next crazy leader. I'm not a big cure for Corona.
You know what? You probably would. But right now, let's not worry about it.
I've eaten some dirt that I'm cured from Corona. We're going to do my test book.
My Chromebook is going crazy.
Did still not come up?
I mean,
Well, hers was messing up a minute ago.
I went and tell her about your right foot. Tell her about
I
your
know,
right
I
foot.
do.
I thought it died. How did it die?
All right, so we're gonna stop right there. What's some things you guys can remember about slope? It's graphing. So M, I'm using the letter M. Rise over run.
X and Y.
It involves the X and Y axis. So if I'm looking also at ordered pairs, I'm doing Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1, and that's right above Ariana's head right there. And then I have the slope formula, which is Y equals MX plus B. Talks about the steepness of a line. You could have brought that in. Okay? You could have talked about that I had 4 types. I have a positive, a negative, a zero, and an undefined. Okay, so actually we knew a lot, okay, as far as slope goes. All right, here I want you to find the slope. So what's the first thing you're going to have to do? Label your X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Did I not hang it on the door? Hold on. No, never mind. I got it. I wrote it down. Yeah. I thought I hung it outside. Sorry. If you need to look at the formula's on the whiteboard over there if you need to look at it.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, Rico's down.
Rico's gone.
I'm gonna move to Rico, Puerto Rico. Plateau. You moved to Plateau.
All right, so I see some of us struggling with that. So if you'll go back, click your tab back over to the Google Meet, and you'll see my screen. And so I've labeled mine X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Remember your equation was Y2 which is my 1, minus y1, which is 5, over x2, which is negative 4, minus x1, which was positive 2. Okay. You want to come right here and see it? Actually, if you would hit the green check and hit refresh, I mean the blue check at the top of got it, and hit refresh, sometimes it'll take you, because Adams did that a minute ago. But we're also in Google Meet right now instead of Nearpod. So you just click your Google Meet tab at the top. Okay, so if I have $1 and I owe somebody $5, that tells you that I'm in the hole $4. And if I already owe somebody $4 and I'm going to take $2 more, that now gives me in the hole for -6. We know a negative divided by negative is positive. And if I reduce 4 over 6, I should get a positive 2 over 3. Okay, we were about half on that. Okay, from what I saw work-wise. Okay. Anybody have a question on that one? That's just kind of plugging in that formula. All right, this next one says using rise over run. Now you'll go back to your Nearpod tab, okay? It says find the slope. And it said at what point on the y, I should say axis, does the line cross? So you're finding two things. You're finding slope using rise over run, and you're going to find the y-axis. Where did it cross the y-axis at? So find slope, rise over run. So find a bottom point and a top point, and counter rise over run. Oh, we did.
Where do you count?
All right, so what's my slope on that one? 1/2. What's my y-intercept? Where did it cross the y-axis?
0.
At 0. Okay. Now it says write the equation for the line. So we're going to use the y equals mx plus b. Now you just told me that slope was 1/2, and you said the y-intercept was 0. So you're going to replace m with 1/2, and you're going to replace b with my y-intercept. So you're going to have y equals, you're going to write the slope, x plus your y-intercept. And so you're going to take out m and b and put in numbers. So my equation should have said y equals 1/2x plus 0.
It's not here.
It did because I moved it ahead. Okay. All right. On this next one, again, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to tell me what your y-intercept is, and I want you to tell me what the slope is. Hello. I do. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Tommy, your mom's going to go to the front door with your lunchbox. So do you care to meet her down there? Okay. All right. All right. So you're just going to identify your y-intercept and your slope. All right, I'm going to stop us. Everybody go back to your Google Meet one. That way you can see mine. We're going to find our slope. So I'm going to find this bottom point, and I'm going to do my rise over run. So I'm going to rise to, I'm going to run to, and it's negative. How many of you forgot the negative sign? Okay, you got to pay attention to that, okay? Because it will make it different. Now, a lot of you did not reduce. Okay. Now, my y-intercept, that was my slope. My y-intercept is this point right here because that's the y-axis that it crosses. So that would have been at -3. Okay. So my slope is -1/1, and my y-intercept is -3. So now go back to your near pod, and I want you to write the equation of the line. Write the equation of the line. Y equals mx plus b. So again, you're going to take out your slope, put the slope we found, and you're going to take out your y-intercept and put the y-intercept we found. All right, so moving ahead on that one, what's my equation on that one? What was it? Y equals -1/1 x -3. And it was the -3 because of the -3. Okay? All right, now this one's a little different. All right, so first of all, what type of slope is that? 0. So my slope is 0. What's my y-intercept? -1. So if I was to plug it in, I would have y equals 0x -1, right? What is 0 times anything?
0.
And what is 0 minus 1? So my equation there is actually y equals -1. When you have a horizontal line, okay, it's either going to, the horizontal is going to cross the y-axis. So you're just going to have y equals a particular number. Wherever it crosses the y-axis is your answer. So here is just y equals -1. Now, if we move ahead to this one is a vertical line, right? So here, does it cross the x-axis or the y-axis? It crosses the x-axis. And so at that point, x equals that number. And where did it cross the x-axis? At 0. So here my equation is x equals 0. So anytime you get an x or a y that's equal to just a number alone, you're either going to have a vertical line or you're going to have a horizontal line. Okay? And that kind of throws it out there just a little bit. It's a little different something, okay? All right, so tonight you're going to have to graph some more, okay? I think I gave one sheet on there where maybe you guys had to write the equation like we did just a minute ago. So if you do, you find your slope, you find your y-intercept, and just plug it in, okay? And then I gave you a couple of sheets where I gave you the equation, and you had to choose a graph that looked like it. So what you're going to do there is you're going to find your slope and your y-intercept from the equation, and you're going to go to your graphs and see which one matches that equation, okay? So go ahead and hop off and get started. And if you need help, let me know. Hang on one second. Let me get this off.